Yes, everyone, welcome back yet again. Hopefully, there's no lag. Hopefully, the stream's working a bit better and a bit stronger. Apologies for that first stream. Like I'm saying, I don't really know what's going on in terms of the internet quality at times. So yeah, I can. If you guys are frustrated or a bit annoyed, I'm feeling exactly the same way too. So hopefully, I've made things work now. I've been fiddling around with a few things, working on a few things right now. So worst comes to worst, if it doesn't work then I definitely give up then. But great to see you guys here. In the meantime, I'm going to bring on Jan again so we can have a discussion around attacking lineups for this season. So I'm going to be calling Jan right now. In the meantime, my friends, bear with me as I get familiar with things again. I need to get my rhythm back a bit now. This is what normally puts me off streaming. I don't know if it's like my setup or my tech or whatever, but it's just not as ideal as I want it to be. Here's what it is though. But great to see some of you guys here. Football therapy in the chat. Harry, yes, Harry, how you doing? Hello, everyone. Okay, good. Jan, can you hear me? Perfect. Jan is back. Jan, introduce yourself yet again back to the stream.
Hey guys, my name's Jan. I'm an adult entertainer from Only Jan.
Awful. Absolutely awful. But anyway, my friends, we're here to discuss how we're set to line up with Osimhen and Jadon Sancho joining us potentially before deadline day ends. Jan, I tried to ask you this earlier. I'm going to ask you again. Do you feel like it's a bit of overkill with some of the purchases we're making now? Or do you feel like these are the right moves we're making? And, if this is the ambition we have before deadline day, this is what we should show it.
It's such a big question, isn't it?
It's a big one, right?
So I have been doing what many Chelsea fans have been doing in their WhatsApp groups of late, and trying to explain what Chelsea are doing, and because obviously it's hella Vogue saying Chelsea have got the scattergun approach. We're just mental. We don't know what we're doing and all this kind of stuff. But if you think about it, and if we deep it, right, let's talk about wingers. And yeah, is all the audio okay, Nini?
I think the audio is working fine. I think everything's making sense now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I've got yours. And are you just doing the audio from me rather than the video?
In the meantime, yeah, I'm keeping things safe.
Okay, cool.
Man.
Yeah,
you just continue on with your point. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, cool. I just want to make sure. I don't want to make sure I was just talking into the ether. Yeah, man. So, for example, Jadon Sancho, right? An example of what's going on, what are they doing, because I think Osimhen's quite an easy case to make, because Osimhen is as much as many people are rightly high on Nico Jackson, you could just understand why bringing a blockbuster 9 makes sense, and then having Nico Jackson as a high quality second choice striker that could even be on the pitch for the same time as Osimhen, or just they both feature pretty much every match day. One starts, one comes off the bench for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So the big one really is the kind of Jadon Sancho, what the ruddy heck is this about? Do you know what I mean? And I kind of get it. Right? Because if you think about Maresca being so big on wingers, he keeps talking about it. All the journalists keep writing about it. And he's kind of nailed his colours to the mast. The kind of winger I like is Noni Madueke, right?
Yeah.
And he's kind of said, whether it's from the sporting directors, the owners, that Sterling's not really his vibe. So you're thinking, right, wingers are really important to Maresca. They're really important. And what else is a really well documented thing at this point? Well, Palmer operates better on the inside. He got 4 goal involvements in the last game we just saw here. We saw him score 4 goals against Everton from the inside position or whatever.
Yeah.
So clearly as good as he is in the right, he's better inside. So and you could say the same for Nkunku. Nkunku's better operating inside rather than out wide. So you got these attackers like Palmer and Nkunku. I'd definitely say the same about Joao Felix, that he's better in an inside position rather than the outside.
Yeah.
So suddenly, if you think about that and you think about Sterling not being rated, we're not actually that deep on wingers in a season where we've got Europe, in a season when we've got the Club World Cup, where we could play over 70 games for a position that's hella important, right? So you're thinking, right-hand side, Noni Madueke seems to be coming into his own. Backup, Pedro Neto. right? He's probably slightly prefers the right than the left, though he's an auxiliary versatile forward. And then on the left-hand side, you've got Jadon Sancho with Neto also backing up. Of course, there's Mudryk, but Mudryk is kind of like a long-term growing pains investment now, which they're just determined to stick with.
Yeah.
And then you look at it like that, bro. It makes a lot of sense, actually, provided that Sterling, the situation does get resolved, which is a big if. But yeah, like you've presented there, like those players, like that is the vibe, dude. Do you know what I mean? And then like you could even have like if from that lineup you're presenting there with Enzo would be like the player that advances into the sort of 10, and Cucurella joins Caicedo. That a lot of people will be saying, well, those two 10s should be Palmer and Nkunku. Or like Palmer and Joao Felix,
think so.
Which is it's a little bit like It's a little bit like 10-year-old FIFA, like just trying to get everyone in.
Yeah.
But there'll be situations where you'll see that. But when I've got so many mates, bro. They're all from Surrey, so they all support Man United. Mm-hmm. But I've got so many people messaging me about it, and I'm just being like, look, listen. We've been all over the gaff for so long, so many different managers, so many different regimes and projects. They are sticking to this project now for the last 4 odd windows. Mm-hmm. And if you think about what they want to do, how they want to play, the wingers, it makes sense. And actually, looking at it like that, Jadon Sancho, provided he agrees a reduced incentive-based wage packet, he makes way more sense than Raheem Sterling. And he's 5 years younger than him.
I think you're making a lot of sense. As we're learning, obviously, Sancho has agreed personal terms, so he definitely has taken a massive wage cut on his 300,000 a week. But and we're also learning too that Maresca was actually the one to push for this signing. So now that we're learning this news, it does say quite a lot about how he feels about Mudryk. Maybe he feels like there was too many inconsistency in the players' games where he can't fully rely upon him. Because imagine if he had any injuries from any attacking players. That's then a big asking tall order then for Mudryk then to step up and perform. And you think that after being here for nearly 2 years, he could do that now seamlessly. Unfortunately, he can't do that yet. And if the manager isn't feeling that type of confidence in him, then maybe this is why we're seeing these types of moves. But yeah, as you can probably see on screen right now, if we put off both Osimhen and Sancho together, these are our 9 attackers in the squad. Now, that's what even including guys like Kellyman and George and others that might still be here. And that doesn't include like Esteval, Paez, and even Gabriel Meck, who are probably close to signing. But it's a crazy abundance of talent. We are incredibly stacked. You can basically pick your best front 3 from like each row of players, right? So I feel like, on paper it's nice, but I feel like I'm still maybe burnt from that 22-23 season when I just completely dismissed the notion of having a overpacked squad, thinking it doesn't matter, the manager picks the first 11. Actually, no. In real life, this shit does matter. So we'll be stacked for multiple tournaments, but then equally, you're not going to constantly rotate your attacking lineup week in, week out, right? We're not Man City where Pep's been with the squad for like how many years, and they're at a good enough level where you can seamlessly swap someone in, take someone out. Yeah. We're still getting used to Maresca's ball, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you're totally making good points there. That like 9 you're showing us there, I think Mark Yu is showing that he can like mix it in the Prem. I really like him. It's quite a vogue thing to like him. But I do think should Osimhen join, I just think we see Q go on loan, right? Or whatever. I just see that happening personally. Mm-hmm. Also, Nico Jackson is the backup to like Osimhen. He will be. I know there'll be opportunities for them to play together. And then
do you think Nico will accept being a backup though? Do you think he will?
No, but I think I mean that in a good way. I mean that he'll be like, right, because bearing in mind, bro, he failed a medical at Bournemouth. I respect the ambition, but this is what we're dealing with here. And he's at Chelsea now. I was saying on the channel recently, I love Nico. I love his confidence.
But clearly not enough though.
No, but I'm just thinking like I wonder if there's a part of him that's like, I'm Chelsea's number 9 now. Do you know what I mean? Like, chill,
probably
bro.
felt that when he was starting to move to Astrid Wet last season. That's when he probably realised, I'm Chelsea's number 9. I can do what I want in this fan base, for God's sake.
Stocks at all-time low on that fucking way.
Biggest all-time low, but I'm not going to get into
anyway,
that.
Anyway, I do love him. I love him, and I feel like Every game he'll feature, even if Osimhen starts, he'll be that guy who comes in for Osimhen. He'll be that guy who like plays on the left of Osimhen. I said about like Mark Yu. I do think Felix and Nkunku and Palmer, those three, they're like inside forwards. And Mudryk, bro, Mudryk, like I'm not writing off Mudryk, but like as of now, he's an L. Like he is.
So you're
like,
basically writing him off now.
But the thing is, I was saying this on my Instagram live that he every game he demonstrates why he's good, but why he's like so bad
also
as
dead
well.
At the same time, right?
Yeah, like he'll do something really sick. Like he'll work on his instinct where he either robs the ball of Conor Gallagher and scores an absolute wonder goal, or he'll dribble past 3 people, or he'll just absolutely put the burners on and terrify everyone. You know, so he'll do all these things, but then he'll like just sky it to Rosed. He'll get the ball robbed of him, not even in like in such a way where he just looks like a dickhead. Like he's just standing around. Do you know what I mean? And
I know what you mean.
And he doesn't track back. So, but all those things he does badly that makes you go mental. That can be coached, and that's why it's so frustrating because all the wonder stuff he does is pretty like organic.
Coaching is hard though. I feel like I don't know. I look at Mudryk for example, as we're touching on him now. I looked at some of his highlights again on playing for Shakhtar Donetsk. Obviously, the league's a lot more open, a lot more space to play in. Obviously, he had a lot more license to do what he wanted. Shakhtar would kind of, make up for his high volume plays where, let's say out of 10 actions, 4 were on point, 6 weren't. And he's always been the high volume type of player. And he had the Ukrainian left back, was not Zabani, Mitvienko was playing as the left back who would really support him, had a great relationship alongside him. And he was like the Aspie to Mudryk, right, to allow him to maybe have that freedom. So I think to myself, listen, he showed what he can do in peak confidence. I feel when Mudryk doesn't have to think too much, and when he reacts and plays an instinct, you see what he's about, right? But equally, I'm looking at his time with a bit of a different perspective. I think, okay, 2 years, no real drastic improvements. Okay, number one, the pace of the league is clearly too much for him because it's nowhere near the same as it was back in Ukraine. And I just think number two, he's he's not, I've never seen him as like a 22-year-old. I see him like being a lot younger actually in his development because he started really late.
He's 23, bro.
23.
23.
He doesn't play like it. He plays like he's like 18 trying to make it again. And I just feel like with the ambition and pressures that he's definitely feeling. When you go to a club like this where the goal is you have to win, you have to do something. The fans are on your back. It's different, but as Nico said, when I'm at Villarreal, we lose the game. No one cares the next day. You come here, you're going to know about that until next season and your whole life unless you turn opinions around. And I just feel like when I see Mudryk come on, I see a player where his instincts can't take over because he overthinks. He panics and he does the wrong actions.
There's a couple of things though. So like, you're right about the left back covering him. I mean, I'll take your word for that. But it was also Shakhtar. Remember, like, it was the time when the war was happening and all the Brazilians were allowed to like rip up their contracts and leave because of the invasion. So they were left with like the natives that wanted to stay and play. And Mudryk was obviously one of those. And it became like a sort of very much counter-attacking, transitional, get the ball up to Mudryk and Inshallah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was that sort of vibes, which obviously is not only is it so non-Chelsea, it's so non-Premier League, especially like, unless you're even someone like Brentford, but Brentford's way more sophisticated than that. So there's a bunch of that. You're right about the instincts. Like when he came on against Anfield in his debut, he was like YOLO. Do you know what I mean? And and he looked like the best player in the world for like he was like lockdown Pulisic.
He gassed all of us.
Yeah. He gassed all of us. He was kind of like lockdown Pulisic for those couple of games under Lampard where he was just Super Saiyan, and we were like, whoa, what a weapon we have here. But then he had time to think about it and just think about what's happening, and it's just on him though. There is that. There's the overthinking. There's the not playing on instinct, and then there's the fact that this guy is just so undercooked. He's just not coached at all. Yeah. Adam Crafton of The Athletic did a big long read on him when he was being so heavily linked to Arsenal, right? Because he was going to go to Arsenal for donkeys. He was just going to go to Arsenal, and one thing this guy was saying, he's just not coached. He's just no way near sophisticatedly like coached enough. Like for like a championship manager would have got him in for like, this kid's got a hammer of a finish. He's super fast, and when he's like feeling himself, he can dribble well. All the raw materials of a superstar. But this kid is just so far off the basics, and they were almost like trying to make him learn on the job, which is just unsustainable for
Yeah,
Chelsea.
it doesn't work. It don't work, does it?
Doesn't work, bro. It doesn't work.
That's what we're learning, man. Listen, I'm gonna cross my fingers. Something makes sense eventually. Who knows? You never know. It's not looking promising. But Jan, I need to interrupt right now. We've got a bit of a little Ornstein bomb. I can't really say bomb. That's a bit exaggerative. But right now we have some updates on Raheem Sterling, as it does seem like Arsenal are currently in talks to try and engineer a move now. Now, this is good for all parties, in my opinion. I think Raheem Sterling could definitely do with that move to Arsenal. I do think that realistically, we have to get him off the wage bill. If we're going to do anything for Osimhen, we need to get some of the big boys off. Like, Ben's going nowhere. There's no interest, no nothing. There's no way we're going to ostracize him out the first team this whole season. That was a bit of a massive gamble. That's not worked for us. But right now...
Well, we can talk about that in a minute as well, if you want.
No, we definitely will. But right now, the opportunity is here for Raheem Sterling to potentially find a move out now. And Arsenal could be that. I mean, I read today, Arteta, I think a week ago, was, complimenting Raheem Sterling for his game and how he plays and what he does. And he's the type of forward he wants that can play across different positions and different lines, right? So, listen, if Sterling doesn't go to Arsenal, United's looking unlikely at the moment. So we wait to see if something can be engineered now, and we cross our fingers, I guess.
Yeah, well, on Sterling, firstly, like Mikel Arteta has seen while working at Man City, like peak prime insane Sterling, like that 1920 season. I think he must have maybe been there. There was a season where Guardiola was being interviewed by, at the time, BT Sports, asking if Sterling can be as good as Messi. There was, because he scored like like 20 league goals, a bunch of assists, was running all over the gap, looked really athletic. So Mikel Arteta has seen like the golden era of Sterling, who's, by the way, not 30 yet. And also Arsenal, Martinelli was a smart pickup because he was second division Brazil, right? But I just don't. He can run really fast. He can look a bit technical sometimes. I just don't think he's got that productivity to be a Premier League winning left winger. Yeah. And that's what they want. Now, people might laugh, well, there's Sterling. I tell you what, Sterling's won 4 Premier League mates playing at left wing. So, as much as I'm happy for Sterling to go, and it hasn't worked, he came to Chelsea, he thought he could do the Eden Hazard vibes thing. He can't. He's a system player. He needs to be told what to do. It hasn't worked. And I did think he would be better under Maresca, but I'm totally happy to absolve ourselves of his wages and his age profile. I'm down, basically. I'm cool with getting him out. But he does get disrespected quite a lot unfairly, I think. And, Arsenal makes sense. And by the way, bro, he won't believe his luck being able to go to Arsenal from this situation. Like, staying in London... Yeah, it's ideal, bro, because he was at Liverpool for years. He was at Man City for years. He just wants to come back. He's from London. He was away for a decade. He's like, finally, I'm back in London, playing for a big club like Chelsea. Didn't work. But Arsenal, he's like, I tell you what, Arsenal are better than Chelsea right now. Get up there, So I'm sure we'll be happy with that. And hold on, will he know? I mean, he'll know Kai Havertz, obviously. I'm trying to think, like, was he 6 months with Jorginho? Chelsea, maybe. Yeah,
obviously. Tuchel brought him in, and if I wanted to be like fair and give Sterling grace, listen, Tuchel had an idea for him when he first signed him, and he did look quite good for Tuchel in those first few weeks of the season. He was playing more of the striker role at the time. Actually, remember he was like, is it false nine? I don't know, but he was playing more as a striker in behind. So.
He was priority target. He was priority target for Tuchel.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's not worked out. And I just feel like, listen, to be fair, I think a lot of us kind of guessed that it wouldn't work out long term. I think, personally, I thought Sterling was on the decline at Man City a little bit. If Pep's saying they're okay to cash in on you, there's a reason for that. And I think City definitely took advantage of the fact that we had no sporting director at the time. Bowley was his first time running a football club, not knowing what he was doing. He was like, Raheem Sterling, he scored a lot of goals. 350,000 a week, take it.
Yeah, but
You
he was
know?
also trying. This is like you say, pre-sporting director. He was trying to please Tuchel. Tuchel had a friggin' hard on for Sterling. He was like so vocal about it. Oh shit, my cat just scared the crap out of me. And he gave him a Aubameyang as well. Aubameyang, big wages. Oh, you like Aubameyang? Yeah, we'll sign Aubameyang. Oh,
Exactly.
Koulibaly, high profile Koulibaly.
Exactly.
You know,
To be
it's
fair, the common pattern
pre-project.
was when Tuchel wanted something, Brody was paying for it, right? So that's what I'm going to say. But Raheem Sterling, I'll go through some of the interesting points really quickly. Arsenal are in talks with us to sign Sterling on loan. That makes a lot of sense. Getting him off the wage bill is going to be key for us if we're going to go for
Yeah.
someone on loan.
Yeah.
29-year-old, of course, not part of plans, as we know, but trying to find a compromise, exactly. Of course, Arsenal, I mean, Sterling's a big opportunity for him. He gets to stay in London. He doesn't have to relocate his family. And you know what? After watching so many like videos on football players or listening to podcasts, the Amazon shows, etc., you get like the insight behind players' lives and how the game works. A lot of the decisions they make are very family orientated, right? Like you can't just say to your family, "Oh, okay, I'm going to be playing, 200 miles up the road now. Come, leave your life behind. You're coming here." No, a lot of times you got to do what's best for your families. So I think this is a good
he's
opportunity
finally
here.
back as well, bro. He's been away
Yeah.
for 10 years. 10
Exactly.
years he's been away, and he's finally. This was the
Exactly.
homecoming. Do you know what I mean? And for me, like, I think if he could do it again, right, and say
Yeah.
he genuinely wanted to make it work at Chelsea, I think he'd change his attitude a little bit. And not that he's got a bad attitude. What I mean is, I feel like he came to Chelsea. He believed in himself. He scored over 100 Premier League goals. Hazard's gone. Pulisic didn't replace Hazard.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can be that guy. I can dribble. I can score. Finally, I'm alleviated from Pep's rigid system. If I
Yeah.
express myself for Tuchel with this amazing box 5 defense behind me where they don't concede goals and they'll let me express myself, I can be that guy. It just didn't happen, bro. You
Nah.
need that system. You need to be in that cutback system to be the best Sterling. It just didn't work. And that's why I thought maybe Maresca could be the guy, but Maresca's coming out saying like he's not the one
Well,
for
to
me.
be fair,
but,
I'm always going to feel
you know.
like the club basically said Sterling, you're out the door, and Maresca's going to agree with the club. And
Yeah,
I think one of
100%.
the reasons is, listen, if I'm going to lose out on Sterling, a guy I literally praised 2 weeks ago as being someone who will be key for us, I need to get a left winger that's serious, because there's no way you're going to take Sterling away and leave him with Mudryk by himself. So I think this is why, you know what I mean? So I think this is
Especially
why
after that
everything's starting to make a
conversation.
bit more sense now.
Yeah.
Listen, Sterling, I wouldn't say he was shit last season. Like, he had his moments, some games versus West Ham, City. Like, he does bring that, but he's just not that player that is the talisman that you're going to turn to be the difference maker that you need. I think that's what kind of works against him. If we had those guys already and Sterling's part of the squad, he'd be someone decent to have. But
Yeah.
because of the money he's on, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, so on Sterling, right? I'm on
Yeah.
X Value, which is the stats platform I've got,
Okay.
right? Just for last season, okay. So this is last season,
Yeah.
like chaos pot season. He scored 8 non-penalty goals. For the time he's on the pitch per 90, he's still in the 89th percentile, so the top 11% for elite wingers for expected goals. He's in the
Yeah.
top 10%, the 90th percentile for expected goals. These are generally elite numbers. For chance creation, he's in the top 7% for expected assists from elite wingers. They've got a metric, and then top for open play expected assists. So he wasn't on corners really anyway. 96th percentile, again top 4%. And then they've got this like pretty sophisticated metrics called expected value added. He's
Yeah.
in the 94th percentile. Expected threat, which is essentially by passing, dribbling, progressing upfield, how much you help the attack. He's in the 96th percentile. And then for dribbling, expected threat from dribbling, from carries, he's in the top 1%. Last season, the top 1%. So, he's been there, and they're comparing him to like dribbling for like Jeremy Doku and stuff. So even though he's frustrated, even though he took a crap free kick and stuff, and we don't see the good stuff, but the managers see, and he's a very good Premier League operator when deployed appropriately. That he does really well. But for us, it's not worked for a multitude of reasons, and he's on a ridiculous amount of money. So every Chelsea fan will give the blessing of this sale, but he deserves respect, like you say. Like, he is a very, very good operator.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But it probably is the time to go. And I guess Sancho's going to be the guy we're going to turn towards now to bring some depth down either flank and do something here, right? So, okay, I think that's pretty interesting. We got like maybe 3 more hours left, just under 3 hours before this window does close. Yeah, and how much time do you have before you have to bounce?
5 more minutes, or my cat is in my office going nuts.
Okay,
She's not
okay.
Over, but
Well,
we'll do,
if
we
the
can,
cat's
we
in
can
the
talk,
office, then yeah, that makes sense.
should we like talk Chilwell and Chalobah or something? I know Chalobah's going on loan. We could do a bit of Chilwell maybe.
I think so. I feel like you brought him up, so you clearly have something to say about him.
Yeah. So I think it's worth talking about because I'm a Chile believer. Firstly, I think he's a great player. I was like when we were linked to not to blow my own horn, but when we were linked to like Tagliafico and Tellez. And someone else, I was like, let's sign Chile, and we're their man now, and Chilwell won the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? So I am a big believer, but he is an absolutely conventional attacking fullback, attacking wingback, and Enzo Maresca's system. The fullback either inverts or they tuck in, and he literally can do neither of those things. Like, as it stands. Obviously, Maresca likes him because when he speaks about him over Raheem, he's like, he speaks about his. Chile was given the vice captaincy. He's a good player. He's amazing crashing the box of those inverted striker runs. He's a great finisher. He's got that Marcus Alonso hammer of a left foot volley as well. But what he can't, for me personally, he can't be bomb squadded, development squad. Because he's not going to go anywhere, bro. There's talk about Brentford a little bit, but where's he going to go? We can't keep him in the development squad because even if he's not vice captain anymore, he's a respected leader and senior player. Like, what do you think is going to happen with him? It's so tough, isn't it?
It's a sticky one still, as a wise man once said. But yeah, I feel. Listen, I think like the guy gets a bit of over criticism sometimes. I feel like with Ben, what really worked out against him was the fact that every time he got back from injury, he needed a run of games to get back to full form. Once he started to show his form again, he then got injured straight again afterwards.
I mean, he was pwned. He was crap. Like
I get crap. You know why I find it very hard to say crap. Like I'll say crap to like a few players, like Kepa. He was one of the worst keepers I've seen.
No, but okay. Let me like elaborate.
Like underperforming, I'd say.
Yeah, he was massively underperforming, bro. For England, he got his England call-up back again when he was fit, and he was really bad for England. And he was bad for Chelsea, but only my cat's attacking me. Only comparatively from him being so good. Remember what the narrative was? Oh, Chelsea, when Reece James and Ben Chilwell are firing, they're as good as anyone. Those wing-backs are so important to Chelsea. They both score goals. Ben Chilwell scores maybe a bit more than Reece, but Reece gets assists. But Reece has got a hammer of a finish. And, just add Lukaku and they'll rule the world and all that. Remember that time. But, but he is very, very good. I just wonder, I'm just racking my brains, bro. Because he can't operate inside. He can't tuck in as a left centre-back. The only thing you maybe think is, he does a Pochettino on him and tries to train him as a left winger. But absolutely not, because he's not going to do what Maresca wants as a winger. He wants what Noni does. He wants to chalk on the boots, like takes a man 1v1. The day I see Chilwell takes a man on 1v1 dribbling is when I know I'm dreaming in a fever dream, because that's just not who he is. Do you know what I mean? So it's so tough, bro, but it would be so harsh to see him bombed out with the development squad because firstly, he's on like 200k a week. And secondly, so how did we get here? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I fully get that. I don't know. Listen, he's not the, I think you really highlighted some of the deficiencies, I'd say, in his game. I still feel like, he's not that bad. I mean, he was criticised for some reason for playing left wing. Like, he told Pochettino he wants to play there. But he demonstrated why Poch thought he'd be a good idea over Mudryk at the time, who wasn't performing. Because obviously he can time his runs in behind and he's got the box threat. So I do feel like there's been a lot of qualities that we've relied upon Ben for over multiple seasons. I don't even know if he could have worked or not. I mean, I remember under Tuchel, he would underlap quite a bit and overlap. I guess maybe inverting in midfield, is that really his role? Maybe not. But at the same time, would I say that maybe Vega and Cucurella have just taking that new role and position to a different level we've never seen before? Absolutely not, to be fair with you. So I don't know. Obviously, with us stacks right now, when Vega was signed, obviously it wasn't looking great for Ben. And I think that's just basically going to be that for his future now, to be fair.
But bro, when freaking when Malagusto's moving over to play his role, it's not looking good for Ben.
Exactly. I mean, Gusto also struggled as well. I feel like, again, Gusto looked good when he could like overlap and underlap. But when it comes to moving the ball from that position, he has kind of struggled at times. So, you know, we haven't seen like perfection in terms of the fullbacks really playing this inverted role perfectly. I think maybe Reece James could be very interesting to have in that role when he does come back fit. But then he's someone you can't rely upon throughout a whole season, right? So we'll see. I still think there's question marks on the quality we're seeing from the inverted role, to be fair with you. So I think that Vega looks good in midfield, but then when he has to defend wide at times, it looks a bit iffy sometimes, you know? Correa has been the best balance so far on that left side. He looks the most accomplished at the moment. I'm curious to see more of Reece James doing that same thing as well, man.
Well, we could see Reece James on the right and Malagusto on the left inverting like that. Yeah, we're yet to see that. That could be
like I think we saw a little bit of that in pre-season. I think that could make sense. That could be interesting.
All right, I think I got a bounce, Nini, but I'll hit you up, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
And we'll do some stuff. I'll jump on again in the season, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, nice. Like finally, you know, us collabing, talking ball for a bit. We'll definitely do this again at some point.
It's been time, yeah,
man.
Cool.
It's been nice though. Yeah, have a good night then. We'll speak in a bit.
Cool. Cheers, everyone. Peace.
Yeah, nice one. So it looks like you lot are just stuck with me now. So I think this is probably a good time to maybe go through some of your questions. You've been hearing us talk about football. I know that there's a few super chats I haven't got through right now. I'm going to go through the super chats right now, so apologies for such a big delay. Starting with Tyson, shout out Nini and the OG subscribers here. Back when this was called Theatre of Streams. Wow. That was such a long time ago that even I've forgotten it was called that. So that's a big shout out. Thank you, Tyson, bro. I appreciate that, man. Junior, Jan, when will you have a collaboration with Eunice? I think that would be nice to see, you know, why times why. Filero, thank you for your dedication, you guys. Hey, Only Jans. You guys call yourself the Only Jans. I mean, fair enough. It makes sense. Joe Abdi, how you doing? Strasbourg, I know they're having a big performance against Lyon right now, but we're also learning that Strasbourg's move to sign David Washington has fallen through. That move has fallen through. It's not going to be happening right now. So that's not an ideal situation. We have to see what happens. I wonder how key David Washington's sell was in terms of giving us flexibility to negotiate moves. Time will tell. Feels like a pretty pointless move to think that, you know, we bought him for big money, selling him for the same value, and realistically he may never ever play for us. But yeah, that was time wasted on a deal that just really wasn't needed. So we have like less than 3 hours before the window ends. We have to see what's set to come, what's about to go down. But in the meantime, it seems like Jadon Sancho, there's a bit more hope around him, that something can come through in the meantime. Let's hope something does surrounding him, though, for sure. I think Maresca definitely wants to have him in the team. So we'll see how that goes, my friends. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the chat back on. I don't know what's going on. This OBS stuff, man, is not for the faint of heart. Hopefully that's working. Okay. Bear with me, my guys. I'm trying to fix this right now to make sense of what's going on. Yeah, I got no idea. But the chat's working here for now. I'm just going to enlarge this so you guys can see yourselves too. Going through some of your questions right now. Usmanini, we are beating Lyon 1-0 first half. I think Lianzi, the centre-back, scored against Lyon, so that's like a big goal for them. And it's nice to see that the team are starting to make sense now under Rosenau. I think that's definitely nice to see. Of course, pre-season wasn't ideal for Strasbourg, but they're investing wisely. There's a bit of balance down the team. I think adding Petrovic is going to be massive for them because the keeper they used last season was very inexperienced. It wasn't necessarily good enough for the task at hand. So having someone like Petro there for a season, I think it'll be a big opportunity for Petrovic to improve his ball playing, improve his distribution, He's still young enough, because keepers can play till they're 40. He's young enough to still keep adding things to his game, to still keep on improving. And I do think working under a manager and a club now that has a bit of a pretty similar way of playing to what we're trying to build under Maresca, that gives Petrovic hope for the long term. Because you look at Jorgensen, you look at Sanchez, can we say confidently that either one would be able to be our number one for the next 5-10 years? Probably not. Hence why we have Slonina and why we have Mike Penders signed to from Genk. So if you're Petrovic, you will still keep backing yourself, because even if you don't make it here, if you have a top season in Liga, you'll put yourself back on the map, and that works out for all parties, right? Moving on to is that Kepa? Sancho is trash, so you're not feeling the Sancho move whatsoever. I feel you, man. Shane Kelly, Sancho in means we don't have to rely on Mudryk. I think that's the plan. I think that's what Maresca is hoping for. He doesn't want to rely on Mudryk. When Sterling went, Maresca said, get me another winger, because I can't rely on Mudryk to deliver the goods throughout the season. That makes sense. Jesse Football TV, Nini, any call-ins today? Potentially, maybe later on. I think I might do this for a bit longer, take a break to eat, come back to stream to do some call-in show with you guys, so you guys can have your say behind what's going on. And then for the final video today, it's going to be like a transfer roundup, and hopefully it's going to be me discussing our double signings of Jadon Sancho and Victor Osimhen getting sealed. Let's see how things go right now. Obviously, things are quiet. When things are quiet, maybe it does reflect something positive is happening. The fact that there's no major updates means that there's deep negotiations going on right now. So basically, we still have hope in the meantime. We still wait to see if something can happen. Obviously, we have all our big guys there. It's not the first time our management have been in this situation where, it is the final moments of the window. They're still trying to secure the big move. They've done it for Enzo. They've done it for Caicedo. It's one of their favorite things to do every window, it seems like. So we wait and see. But, as there's still time left, I guess there's still hope left. That's the important thing. Joe Abdi, another super chat, bro. I appreciate that, man. If we don't get a striker, this window is a 6 out of 10. I think I've always wanted us to spend big on a goalkeeper. Striker, even though a big one would be helpful, I feel like there's more to come from Nico. I feel like with someone like Nico, I need to see him for at least 2 years straight. First year was decent. He got 17 goals. That's not a bad return, right? This year will be an even bigger test for him. He's already got a goal so far this season. I want to see how he does linking up with Palmer again, and and Kunku and Felix and these guys. So I feel like there's more to come from Nico Jackson. Let's see what he does this season. But outside of that, I don't know. I think if the goal was to guarantee CL football, I probably would have signed maybe a centre back that's more fitting to invert. I think Renato Vega is an interesting prospect, but he definitely isn't fully ready yet from what I've seen so far. He's going to need some time for sure. You guys might be bored, but I really like Calafiori. I think he would have been a great addition to have, playing that left back Gavardio role, and I think he would have really boosted and improved the team quite a lot, to be fair with you. I think this guy's a top player, so to miss out on him wasn't great, to be fair with you. I also think too as well that we didn't have to spend too much, but we had to spend focus money, right? And I think a goalkeeper, I think Diogo Costa, there must have been a possibility for him, instead of buying 8-7 goalkeepers and spreading out their wages over that amount of players, spend that money on someone with quality that upgrades the team substantially. And I think Diogo Costa would have been an elite option to have between the sticks. And it's a shame that we didn't actually continue our efforts to try and sign him. And listen, I like Neto a lot, but I'm a bit ambitious. If there was a way to go for Leao or, I'm talking about fantasy stuff that never would have happened, not especially without CL football. I think Neto was a good player that I'm happy with, and I think he has long-term value. So I'm impressed with him. Felix surprised me. The fan part of me is here for the Felix move, though, just to see what he does. This is his final chance now to show that there's still that world-class potential in him, which he does show on occasion in flashes. Can it be unlocked more consistently this season? We're set to find out, right? So it's not been ideal, and when I say that, I think about guys like Dewsbury Hall. I don't know why he was bought. Nothing against him. I think he's a decent player, but he doesn't really move the needle. He doesn't do anything substantially better compared to what we already have. I feel like it was a bit of a waste, to be fair with you, and those minutes would have been given to Kans or someone to really utilize them more, and that would have been better for the squad. And we'd have more money to save now, where we don't have to sell players of fun moves for your Osimhens and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not really understanding it, to be fair with you. But I feel like a few more questions. I'm going to take a mini break because I need to eat something. I'm not eating since the morning time, man. I feel like I'm starting to run out of energy right now. Ethan, Cucurella seems to be showcasing promise, and Vegas seems great, especially his mentality, and he appreciates wearing the badge. I think that's a nice positive thing to see, his confidence, but the quality sometimes can be a bit iffy. Like a few times he's been overzealous in the challenges, you know, a few times he's losing his man, a few times he's doing the wrong action, like he's constantly looking to, you know, not adding composure when composure is needed sometimes. Against Servette last night, a lot of times I wanted him to bring the ball down and play it. He was just heading it away into anyone for one of his teammates to deal with. I'm thinking, you know, I've watched a lot of top players over the years. You know, the top players is going to look to bring that ball down, bring composure, and, you know, bring some positivity on the ball. But listen, I'm not here to say Vegas crap. I think he's a very interesting talent. I think there's a lot of promise in his game. But I definitely think he's someone that you have to work with. I'm not expecting him to become world-class overnight. But the fact that, you know, he's getting minutes already, the fact that he's been called up to the Portuguese national team squad, this is going to be a great year for him to learn quite a lot. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does, because if everything works out good for this guy, you know, you're looking at the Rudiger, Luiz mentality guy that has always been a great addition to the squad. Having that in Renato Vega is going to be good, alongside the fact that he is good on the ball, he is technical, and he does have good qualities. So I'm excited to see how this guy develops, for sure. Monochromatic Spider, Mudryk has great abilities, but he struggles to do the right thing at the right time, for sure. I feel like the mental pressures, I think it's very obvious when he plays, to be fair. Derek, here we go, Napoli complete deal to sign Billy Gilmour from Brighton. Yes, the move we've all been waiting for tonight. Billy Gilmour getting his move to Brighton. Not gonna lie, I did feel for their new signing from Celtic, who I've discussed. Why am I forgetting his name top of my head? That's because I'm running out of calories in me right now, boys. But yeah, Matt O'Reilly, very unlucky to get injured. Stupid tackle. When you play these non-league teams, sometimes, not non-league teams, but these lower division teams, listen, these guys, they go out to try and hurt Prem players. These guys want to make a name for themselves. They want to show that they're not phased, so they overdo it all the time. And yeah, it's a bit of a peak one for him, to be honest with you. But it must not be that serious if they're still allowing Gilmour to move. And I'm a bit surprised that Gilmour's going to work under Antonio Conte. I'm very surprised by that, but I do think that in terms of how Billy moves the ball and how he uses it, he's a very intelligent player. And if you use a guy like this properly in your system, they can add quite a lot. So let's see what he does there. Grant, Enzo is more expensive than Jorginho. Yes, Matt. Dewsbury Hall signing reminds me of Drinkwater. A little bit. The similarities are definitely there. They're definitely there. I think I'll give Dewsbury Hall some time, though. Obviously, he's just come to a new club, etc., etc. Not everything he's done has been bad. I'm not going to say that this guy has been just like awful and, you know, a level below everyone else. There's better players than him that haven't performed necessarily. And I'm looking at Caicedo, for example. So I'm going to wait for Dewsbury Hall. But maybe I'm being unfair, but I'm always going to feel like it just wasn't really needed, especially with the talent we already had. And my worry is that if Lavia and Caicedo show that they could be prone to injuries or they're out of the team, we do lack those defensive options. And you think when you have Santos and Ugo Chukwu, having one of these guys in the squad over Dewsbury Hall, where, like, what is the need for him when you now have Nkunku, Palmer and Joao Felix, and you know you're now going for Jadon Sancho? It just feels like, what was even the need, really, to be honest with you, because they'll probably take one of his positions. So let's see how that goes. Mark, Hall signing doesn't feel right. Carnes could have done way better. Definitely, I agree with you, man. Shane Kelly, any news on Arojo, Jalaba going to Palace? We're going to learn and find out what's going to happen. Ideally, I hope we don't go for him. I can't imagine that we have enough time to get Sancho, Osimhen, and then do this move on the side. Who knows? But it's only a loan move that's been agreed. So, listen, that probably tells me the Sassy is staying. We've heard nothing about the Sassy leaving today. So, you know, I think nothing's going to happen there unless we get some last-minute news that comes from nowhere. But in the meantime, the Sassy stats remain. Jalaba gets his loan move. on loan for this season. And I think Achimpong should get some minutes too. It should be used. But I mean, we have to wait to see what happens on that front, right? Learning some good news though. Good news. Raheem Sterling and Arsenal have found an agreement on personal terms at the moment. On personal terms. So it does seem like Raheem Sterling could be finding himself at the Emirates Stadium this season, which is a massive twist that no one saw coming. Let's see how that goes. Very big twist. Yeah, I'm just really fascinated to see how that's going to develop, to be honest with you. Moving on though, not to move on, I want to like focus on this a bit. Give me 1 second, you guys. Using OBS can be a little bit finicky sometimes. If you ever use it before, you probably get what I mean. Like things aren't working how it should be. I don't know why. My yeah, things ain't working out they should be right now. It's just a little bit tense. I'll keep it real. But let me go back to the reporters. Reporters, yeah. Okay, so we can see from Romano, or from the news right now. That's it, Romano. Raheem and Arsenal agreement between the player. Arsenal in case clubs decide to get it done. So right now we need to find that agreement between both clubs currently to make something happen here. That is the big thing we need to see. Negotiations ongoing between clubs with Chelsea, open to finding solutions. So we see now what happens. You know, I'm curious, is there going to be like an option to buy? Is there enough time to negotiate that? Probably not, right? If anything, you're hoping that Arsenal maybe pay for a substantial percentage of his wages. That happens, and then maybe if Sterling performs, Arsenal decide to buy him on a permanent. I mean, they've not been afraid to buy players from us that we don't see value in, and then actually turning these players into pretty valuable players for themselves. I mean, the fact that they're above us in the table now for the past few years, and they have had a better winning success rate against us over the past few years, kind of sums things up. So if Sterling has hopes to try and regain a spot under Lee Castley's England national team squad, playing for Arsenal right now, that could be the best decision for his career. So for his sake, let's see what happens. We are kind of strengthening a rival yet again, and we have paid a price. Every time we sell players, those players tend to come back to bite us in the arse and do things against us. And you know, Raheem Sterling will come with different energy if this move to Arsenal does go through, and if he has a chance to play against us this season. So that's definitely one to watch. In the meantime, let's go through what Romano's saying currently. Okay, that's an interesting one. Former Chelsea player and Tudor Mendel is set to go to Ipswich from Anderlecht. Okay, now I know like last season he was kind of with the B team a lot of times with Anderlecht, but Tudor Mendel, Adoru, this guy was stupidly skillful. Like, I'm not even saying 5 stars, 6-star skill moves at times. He's a very interesting player too in his personal life. I know he went to I think Cambridge or Oxford. So he's very educated, very smart. He was on that TV program as a kid, you know, like when they like the exceptional gifted kids or something. So this guy's a bit of like a cheat code human being, like being that smart and also being like a good football player. Going to Ipswich, that could be a nice career move for him. So let's see what happens there. So Tudor Mendel Adoru set to sign for Ipswich Town. Yes, Raheem Sterling, Arsenal, the door is still open. Yes, Billy Gilmore, of course, getting ready to complete a 30 million move. Now, I wonder, we must have attached some sell-on clauses or fees, right, when we sold him to Brighton. There's no way we would have let him go for no money. But even then, why is Gilmore going for so little? 13 million euros. Fair enough. That's a bit of a bargain, to be fair with you. Carlos Forbes, set to sign for Wolves. Okay, Lacroix. Remember when this guy was linked with us when Tuchel was here? We thought he was going to be the next one. Obviously, Crystal Palace agreeing to get Jalibert on loan. Guy, Jalibert, Lacroix. That is a mad defensive unit to turn to. And obviously, Glasner wants a 3 at the back system. You can imagine Guy on the left, Lacroix in the middle, and Jalibert on the right hand sides. That is a defense that's like a top 8 defence, in my opinion. Guy, Lacroix, and Jalaba, that's mad. So, yeah, Crystal Palace are one to watch out for next season. If they had kept Oliseh whilst having this defence, they'd be cooking differently this season. But thank God that wasn't the case, right? But that's what we're learning right now. And obviously, United insists on their conditions to be met on the buy clause and salary coverage in order to greenlight a move. That's one of the main reasons why Juventus in the end decided not to pursue Jadon Sancho, because the finances weren't working out for them. Now, we have a bit more finances to play with. Obviously, if players do go, that does free up even more flexibility from that front, right? So let's see what happens with Jadon Sancho. But as we know right now, we have the agreement for personal terms already. We have the agreement from the player. He's given us the green light. All we have to do now is, process the right financials with Man United to make something happen now. So things are slowly but surely moving along now. Vincent, I'm going to go back to answer some of your questions though. Don't know why. Okay, I shouldn't be showing this. Let me just get out of this real quick. Flipping out. Give me 1 sec, you guys. I'm going to get the chat back on. Okay, so you guys, what you saying in the chat, I'm going to be on for like the next 15 minutes and I'm going to go make something for dinner and then I'm going to come back later, yeah. But Vincent, we could have went for Tony. These owners are ruining the club. But let's see. So far, they haven't disappointed us when it comes to securing like the big money option, like the ambitious signings. So let's see if there's enough time to make that happen. David Washington deal has collapsed, yes, as we know. Chelsea may have pulled the plug due to reports stating that the Premier League would have investigated the transfer. So yeah, that's a bit of a tense one for us. You have to make sure the legalities are on point when you're going to do these like inter-club type of moves, right? I think like when Man City were able to sign Savio, that's because Savio was actually sold permanently to Troyes and then Troyes then loaned him to Girona. Obviously, they were under the same networks, and then City then bought him from Troyes again. So there's like a bit of a less like direct route to Man City, and unfortunately, we don't have another network club or feeder club in our ranks right now. Talks about this Argentinian club and Portuguese club have definitely stalled at the moment, which hasn't been great. And if that was there, who knows what possibilities we would have had? Because I think ideally, Washington would be in Portugal for the next 2 years, playing and making something happen, right? Emmanuel, just watched Strasbourg. Yeah, I know it's half-time, 1-1 between Lyon and Strasbourg. Guys are brave, real positional game. Liam is cooking something. Now, Liam seems like a football like Ota. Like, he's one of those guys that really loves the game. In his interview, he mentioned that he was someone that even from an early age, he's always been very analytical. He's always been very observant. He looks for patterns. He tries to understand things. And he really took to football tactics from a very, very young age. So he's in his element right now. He's turned things around at the moment in terms of how the Strasbourg players are getting used to playing. Let's see what he can do. You think to yourself too, right? If he was to perform at Strasbourg, and let's say in 2-3 years, Maresca goes somewhere else or we decide for someone else, well, we've kind of coached a potential replacement for Maresca. I'm being very hypothetical, but just try and go along with me. But, Rosenau could be that potential successor to Maresca in the future that we're given an opportunity now to hone and craft his skills with Strasbourg. It's a big challenge for him, of course, going to a new country, new language, new coach, new everything. But he seems to be doing all right in the meantime. Missed these live streams. Yeah, bro, it's been very frustrating with these streams today. Like when I first posted live, everything was a lot better in terms of the viewers and people that were here. It flopped because my OBS software just couldn't handle the stream, and yeah, I had to come back after some time and make it work. But I'm glad that you guys are still here with me, and I'm glad that you guys are still hearing me ramble on about what's happening on deadline day. Sir Urk the Florist, Carney news. Right now we know that Manchester United are in talks with us over a potential move. Nothing concrete right now. We wait to see. But you'd imagine the next, like, the final 2 hours of the window, these will come thick and fast, right? So let's see what happens there. Emilio, Osimhen rejected Chelsea. Tyler, are we getting Sancho? It's looking positive. George Horder, big fan. Nini, keep up the good work, my blue brother. Appreciate that, my guy. Thank you so much. Adams, Sumala, I still believe in Nico. I think we still should. I think Nico has definitely given us a reason to have some faith towards him. I feel like as a fan base too, over the past like half a decade, all we do is buy guys under 22 years old. And I feel like by now we need to like understand what development is, what patience means, why we can't have these like crazy, harsh expectations on players. We have to let them grow. We have to let them breathe. You know what I mean? And I think Nico's demonstrated the potential he has and what he can become. So yeah, I'm not giving up on him. And he's probably praying and hoping that right now, anything for Osimhen does fall through and does fail, because is that the competition that he needs right now? I mean, like a month and a bit ago, when the club downplayed their interest in him, and then mentioned facts like, oh, Nico Jackson is someone we feel we could ruin his development by going for Osimhen. We're going to believe in him. We're going to stick in him. Obviously, that's complete cap right now because we're locked in serious negotiations to try and broker this Osimhen deal. So, yeah, let's see how Nico reacts. I'm very curious to see what he does. And I should probably make like a 5 things we learned from deadline day because, yeah, now that we're adding to the squad, there's going to be big question marks on Mudryk, on Nico. Even Nkunku, Sancho and Felix coming in. That wasn't part of the plan. And I remember last summer, because I don't forget these things, one of the reasons why Mount and Havertz was moved on was that the club wanted to promote Nkunku for that more central role. And now we've gone for like, you've got him, Palmer, Felix, and even Sancho can operate there as well. So we're absolutely stacked yet again in these areas. Right now, Osimhen news is quiet, and that's a good thing. Because remember, everything will be real time in terms of the reports we're getting, but not like exactly real time, but close enough in the sense where it's like, if we hear something, it could have literally have come like, 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. So when things are quiet, it means that the talks are actively going on, things are happening, and when something is ready to be reported, we'll learn it soon. So let's just watch out and let's see what happens. Dergs, I have a feeling we sign Tony in the next hour. You still feel that's on. It feels like he's pretty much set now on Ali. It seems like that's probably the next play. And listen, good for Tony. Good for Tony, yeah? I mean, the fact that he's earning life-changing money, £17 million for one season. Like, if I told you how much he's earning at Brentford, you guys wouldn't believe it. I think he's earning just over 1 million for the whole year. I think his salary is like 32 to 36,000 a week. That's nothing, right? So to go from that salary to earning over 300 plus thousand a week at this age for a guy that I think it was at Newcastle's academy setup, but this guy went through all the lower divisions to come up to this level. League 2, League 1, the Championship, the Premier League, and every season getting 20 goals, 20 goals, 20 goals. So now get to this stage in his career right now where he's come from such humble beginnings. And now you've got this opportunity to earn around, £51 million over 3 years if you remain at Al Ahly. That is incredible life-changing money, which just like, that's generational money that you're earning right now for a player that isn't even earning big bucks right now, that isn't on a mad salary, that isn't earning millions per season. He's earning like 36,000 a week right now, which is absolutely crazy that Brentford, after all this time, weren't able to negotiate a better contract for him. So yeah, let's see how he does. But I do think he's pretty much dead certain now on signing for Al Ahly. So that's that. Jaquan, what you think of Enzo Maresca so far? I think I still need a bit more time. I've got nothing against him right now, which is a good thing, I guess. I feel like I need to see more of the football develop to get a strong understanding behind what he's about. If things are going against us, how does he react? I think because it's the transfer window, maybe he's doing more politics than ideally he wants to do because he has to play the game. He's the head coach. He's not the manager. So he has to do what's right by what the owners say at times. So I do feel like I've not necessarily seen everything about Maresca just yet. But I think once the window does end, then that'll be like the perfect time for me to really start to gauge what he's really about. Listen, I'm not easily swayed by press conferences. Even last season, I remember everyone in the fan base was gassing up Pochettino. Yeah, he's this, he's that. This is what we need after letting Graham Potter go. And then in the end, people were mocking this guy and saying, get out and you're not good enough. So listen, press conferences mean absolutely nothing. Ultimately, results, what you do and how you perform, that's the only thing I can look at you for. I'm Josh. Hey Nini, just joined. Have you heard about David Washington deal falling through? Yes, I've heard about that. It's fallen through. The club, don't want to put themselves in any like sticky situations or any legal messes because of this potential like inter-transfer to Strasbourg. So that does make sense. Let's pour for David Washington. Again, if he had just remained at Santos and like played first team football for them, would he be in a better place right now? Maybe career-wise, but would he have as much money as he has right now? Probably not, because I'm sure this guy is like a multi-millionaire already now. So let's wait and see. But yeah, it seems like he might get a loan in January if that comes, but it's a shame the move has fallen through to Strasbourg. It is what it is. Thomas, what's your ideal choice before we got Maresca? I think I was ready in the end. Even though Poch was like, make me feel this 1 month, the next thing the other month, another thing again. I thought I would have just stuck with Poch, to be fair with you. But Maresca, he has his ideas. I'm not opposed to them at all. I'm kind of open to seeing how far he can take things, to be honest with you. You guys, I want to be on for like the next 5 more minutes just so I can like get something to eat, because I'm actually feeling a little bit tired right now, to be fair with you. It's been like a long day. It's set to be an even longer day because I'm going to have to make like a big deadline day roundup video. Hopefully the next video I release is going to be us announcing Victor Osimhen, and hopefully that really goes through now. I think that's what we're waiting for. I actually had plans today to meet my boy in London. I had to bail out last minute, like, bro, I can't even link you. We're gonna go like get some drinks and get some food, but I was just like, yeah man, I got work today. So yeah, I'm committed to this. I'm committed. Alex, yes, Alex, great to see you here, man. Philosophical Fire, Burning Wisdom, very specific username. I think we just re-signed David Washington. I'm going to touch upon the news as I'm making my foods. Like today, I've got myself like a nice sirloin steak. I'm going to fry it up goods. I'm going to have it with some fritters, asparagus grilled, broccoli grilled. Like, I'm not going to play around with this meal. I'm salivating over this steak right now. Like, I can't wait to tuck in and make this. I'm not going to lie, I make a pretty decent steak. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not bad in the kitchen. Like, sometimes I've thought, wouldn't it be funny to do it like a stream as I'm like cooking dinner or something like that? But I don't know. I'm getting a bit too carried away now. Seth, I have been watching a couple of these deadline day transfer streams. It'd be cool if someone put a player list and then have the status blocks to move them into like update with rumors. That would be cool, but logistically that is very hard to pull off. You need like software, equipment. You need someone that's making this stuff for you in advance. There's a lot of stuff a lot of us could do if there was easy access to it. Like the best I can do, as you can probably see on the screen, is just like these little predicted lineup things. That's like the best I can do, and that's like a lot of organizing and an OBS to make it work and make it come to life. It's not simple, but again, as I get more experience doing this, because I've never really streamed consistently enough like I should, then I think, I would like to do a few more ambitious things right. So let's see how it goes, but it's a good idea, man. It's a good idea. Heba Badir, yes, always here without fail. How you doing? You should stay until deadline day, man. Well, I'll probably come back again, but yeah, I'm probably gonna have to leave just so I can eat something, because it's gonna be a very long night, and already I'm feeling pretty tired right now. I feel like I need like a little 30-minute break just to eat, and then I'll come back on. And this time I'm looking to do a bit of a call-in show. So when I come back to stream again, there will be instructions in the description, so you guys can come on, share some of your thoughts. I'm going to keep everything quite snappy. You guys get like a few minutes at a time, talk a bit of ball, and then obviously I'm going to release my deadline day video. And fingers crossed, listen, if it's successful, if our investment pays off, and what I mean by that is us as fans, We love a bit of transfer dopamine. Even though maybe signing Sancho doesn't make sense, the fact that we're signing someone just triggers something in our monkey-ass brains. If we pull off the deals we're supposed to, I might even do an additional stream after that so we can have even more conversations on what's gone down. So yeah, I'm going to be on for the next 3 minutes before I bounce to eat something. But let me answer a few more questions. Seth, oh no, not a complaint. It was just a thought. Appreciate what you're doing. Oh, sorry if I misconstrued you. Frenchly OTF, bonsoir, bro. Where do you think we're going to finish this year? Maybe 5th or 4th. I feel like I've just been humbled so much over the past 2 seasons that I'm a bit scared to have ambition. I'm a bit scared to be like easily top 2, top 3. I like to think we can, based on the individuals we have. But I have to see like the football make a bit more sense. I'm looking forward to Palace. If we continue a little bit of what we saw against Wolves, then I'll have a bit more hope, right? So let's see what happens there. Okay. Yep. Valley, Chelsea's scattergun approach backfired. In the meantime, it's not looking great. But let's see if anything can come to life from this. Very controversial. You know, a lot of fans aren't really understanding how we're moving in the window these days. I understand it, but sometimes it does feel like a little bit like unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like, come on. We have to keep going for these signings now. Like, come on, man. Some of them are unnecessary buys, to be fair with you. Andre Santos has made that 2-1 against Lyon. Santos, I thought when Gallagher was leaving, Santos was set to be the guy who was going to be the successor. I mean, this is someone I think could be world class for sure. I think he has that potential, the mentality. He's got everything going for him right now. So yeah, Andre Santos scoring 2 goals again. He's been such a key player for Strasbourg. And if you're Strasbourg, you know, when you get access to players like this, listen, I definitely sympathize with their fans. Like, no fan likes to feel like they're second best to anyone, right? But equally, the little small bonuses that you do get access to a caliber of player that you never would ever get access to begin with. And Andre Santos, I can't imagine many Strasbourg fans having anything to complain about. But it does seem like maybe the David Washington deal is back on. I think that's the vibe that's coming out right now. There's something that could be here. Nizar Kinsella reports that. Let me go to his report. Yes, okay. David Washington's 17.7 million move to Strasbourg is back, being discussed. Personal terms may now be agreed as talks reopen, of course. Club-to-club agreement with Chelsea, not an issue. So we must have got the legalities, patterns, and everything's finalised. That's reassuring to see, and it's good for Washington that he has some stability in his career now. Speaking of Brazilians going to Strasbourg, I thought it was a bit interesting that Angelo just all of a sudden is just... What is Angelo now, you know? He's not getting any loan unless something does get engineered, or unless maybe some Saudi club, because their window closes later on, is coming out from nowhere to secure something up for him. But I feel for Angelo, he had some promise last season, but yeah, it's not been looking great for him, to be fair. But anyway, you guys, I think this is the time I'm gonna have to cut things off so I can eat something, because yeah, I'm not Romano. I don't like operate on like 2 hours of sleep. You know, I need to eat something right now. I'm feeling like my mouth's getting a bit tired. I don't want to have like a shit stream. So I'm going to bounce. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to let you guys know when I'm back on. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, obviously when I come back, I think it'll be a bit of a call-in show. You guys can come on and share some of your thoughts and opinions. And obviously the best way to do that is maybe send a super chat so you can prioritize, because otherwise I get so many people in Skype who obviously want to participate, and I just can't humanly, you know, have everyone come on, right? So my guys, my girls, everyone else, I'll come back very soon, yeah? And we'll keep talking everything deadline.